Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at quantum computing, and on this chart we actually have quite a lot of potential here in the very short time frame. But before we get there, I would like to go quickly through the larger time frame where we are dealing with an overall downtrend, but from this bottom we may be tracking already an initial wave 1 up. We have then a correction in an ABC pattern in a wave 2, and I'm looking now for the third wave that would be forming to the upside, yeah, in which we should expect quite extended levels. Now, in this wave 3, we are tracking internally an initial wave 1 to the upside, within which we are looking at already at a wave 1, 2, 3, and 4 complete. Yeah, the wave 4 is also likely complete at this point, and that is because we fulfilled all the minimum expectations within a wave 4. Yeah, we have a three-wave structure down, and then to the upside we have even managed to form a five-wave impulse complete. Yeah, and we are now tracking an internal 1-2 setup. Now we do still have the ability for a reset within this wave 4. We haven't necessarily maxed out the area of support, but I do have to say that if we actually end up dismissing or invalidating this 1-2 basically, we would probably need in the end to track a completely different structure. So probably the impulse will end up failing, and I'm not counting too much on a reset here within this wave 4. Yeah, so basically if we end up breaking the idea of this 1-2 setup, which means we fall below the beginning of this wave 1, we need to be watching out for a different pattern, a considerably less bullish one most likely. Now in this 1-2 setup, we are going to track this reversal in a wave 3 with quite high probabilities, as long as we hold the area of support between the $13.10 level all the way down to the $6.4 level at the 78.6% retracement. So far, we are already building the 3-wave pattern to the downside within the wave 2 correction, within which we are tracking an ABC movement, and I have to say, it is possible for this to turn into a slightly different pattern where we may find a completion sooner rather than later, where in the wave C we would need a full clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, but this may build in the end into something like a WXY pattern, in which we really only need to form probably a couple of lows to actually have the full count. Now, if we are to even look for an ideal target here for the wave C to the downside, or the third wave down basically, not a wave 3 necessarily, just the third wave down, I would be looking here at the 100% extension of the wave A, which in this case is the $9.3 level. Now, personally, I don't necessarily expect to form a bottom directly there. That is an ideal target, and we don't even need to get there, but we certainly don't need to stop there either. It is just a general target that we are looking for, and that the wave C is generally drawn towards. Now, before we get into the very short time frame, I do want to point out an ideal target for the larger wave 3 within this 50 to the upside, and that would need to be based at the moment on the current bottom that we have here in the wave 2, which is likely going to shift, but right now it is at the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, which is quite an extended target, which makes this area of support all the more interesting. It is at around the $115 level. Now, as I was mentioning, as we shift lower within this area of support, that the ideal target within the wave 3 will also need to shift as well. Yeah, for example, if we get to the 61.8% retracement, I would then instead only be really looking at the $100 level target for a wave 3 to the upside. But with that said, we can now look internally for the direction this pattern is going within, and internally I have drawn some ideas, some patterns we could track within this wave C to the downside, where I am looking basically for a 5-wave move down. Now keep in mind, if this ends up forming something like a larger, here, wait a moment, a larger WXY, well, then I would need to be prepared for a bottom within this movement, this third wave basically to the downside within the wave C. So we may not get this larger wave 4 and then this 50 to the downside. We will need to break the area of resistance for such a wave 4 once this wave 3 is complete, for that to be a more clear and reliable signal that we have indeed bottomed. But for now, we need to also be careful and watch out for a more sooner rather than later completion of this overall correction. Now, internally within the wave C, as I was mentioning, we are tracking a 5-wave pattern, but it is within the idea of an ending diagonal, which means we have an ABC pattern in a wave 1, we have an ABC pattern in a wave 2 correction, and then we are looking for an ABC pattern to develop within the wave 3 as well. And not only that, it makes it even more difficult because in the internal wave C of the wave 3, yeah, in this area, we are also tracking an ending diagonal. Now, this might work out as an impulse as well, but I'm not too convinced necessarily of that. So within the idea of an ending diagonal, I am looking here for something like a 1, 2, 3 to be forming, and then a fourth and then a fifth. And in that case, I have here a possible ABC pattern within the wave 3, in which case I do still need to be tracking this wave C actually as a possible impulse to the downside. Now, as I was mentioning, we may have actually this entire large wave C within the wave 3 as an impulse. It could easily work out, but it's just on the small time frame. It doesn't matter too much, at least not at this point. Yeah, I suppose we could be looking at this as 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, then another 1 2 here, a third wave down, which honestly we may be towards the end of. Yeah, we may be heading towards the end of this internal wave 3, which is why I am watching out right now for resistance here at the levels between the $10.2 all the way up to the $10.7 level. Now, this is internally because this larger wave 3 is still expected to extend, and in that case, we need to allow for us to push into this area of resistance, and if we manage to break above the $10.7 level, well, we may need to look for a different pattern where we actually have a full count within this wave 3 and already look for the larger wave 4 correction. Now, as I was mentioning, it is on the very small time frame. It isn't necessarily going to work too well within one pattern or the other because they do shift and morph all the time on such a small time frame. Yeah, right now we are already pushing into new lows, it seems, and I may need in that case to actually shift the area of resistance along with it. Now, we won't be doing that. We won't be tracking the nano time frame here because it is generally preferred to zoom out and watch from a larger time frame perspective where, yeah, once again, we have a very nice 5-wave move to the upside. We have basically a 1-2 setup, and we are already quite deep within the area of support, so it is already an interesting time to look for a potential entry for a third wave to the upside. But yeah, as always, this is your choice. I'm not telling you what to do. I am just presenting the areas I find interesting for opportunities for profit and potential. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.